And welcome back to Japan Game Junk, this time talking about a visit to Momotaro Okoku. This is a store that's presented by Surugaya, so it's basically Surugaya when they bought out this chain. And this one was visited on the 25th of August of 2024, actually kind of late at night. It's open a bit late. And this store, the first floor, has Momotaro Okoku. That's the game and hobby stuff. Right next to is Zest, which is all the adult stuff if you need to, have some sexual gratification. And on the second floor, it's military items and apparel and airsoft guns. So, kind of a weird jack-of-all-trades used store complex. So, this store, the Momotaro Okoku, presented by Surugaya, this actually has had a lot of great stuff in the past. That's where I got my PC Engine arcade card, cheaper than most places. It's where I got a boxed mini disc player, nice set of that was way too cheap. They've had a bunch of fun stuff in the past. So, what do they have here this time? First of all, 6,000 yen. They had the 60 gigabyte version, gigabyte version of the PlayStation 3, the original release, that can play PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games for 6,000 yen. Main unit only, no cables, and it's kind of a cheap price, as these are the most sought after of the systems. They had a Game Gear battery pack, which was wistful for my times remembering in elementary school when I saved up money for a long time to get a Game Gear and the battery pack to play it, because I didn't want to spend money on batteries, only to find out you need the AC adapter also. So I had to go back the next week after saving up even more money to get that as well, or 2 weeks later, I think. Anyway, the Game Gear battery pack here, junk. Probably they didn't have anything to test it with for 500 yen, but I already had mine from it when I was a kid, so I did not buy this just to have one. PSP, it's really, really worn. It has all the buttons and nub and everything, but a very old PSP, the original model, that just had lots of little tiny scratches and kind of weared. It looked like it was worn. It was really, really played a lot. For 2,000 yen. So if you just want a PSP that works, that's pretty good. And 1,000 yen working GameCube, so many scuffs. It looks like someone rolled around the GameCube like they were rolling dice. All the corners and the sides were really scuffed, and the purple was worn down to the white plastic underneath. But it did indeed work. So if you wanted one, 1,000 yen for that GameCube. For 1,500 yen, they had a very, very nice, arcade stick for the Super Famicom, or you could use it for the Super Nintendo, of course. But one of the higher end models. So for 1,500 yen, actually, it was very, very nice looking. Also, they had lots of PC game stuff. So for 2,000 yen, for the Macintosh computer, so this would be probably pre-OS X, but the Pro Stick, Flight Stick, and the Throttle, by CH, and that might be a major company I'm not aware of. But yes, for each 2,000 yen each, you can get a joystick and a throttle for your flight sim Mac needs. They also had a PCFX, just the system and the controller and the cables, but 20,000 yen, still a bit pricey for my blood. Neo Geo CD, just the ROM system, including the AC adapter and one controller and the memory card for 50,000 yen. Kind of the normal price that you might expect to pay, but still I wouldn't pay that much. A PS TV. Wow, these things have gotten expensive. Here it was 25,000 yen for the white PS TV and the controller and cables. A working, but well-worn Neo Geo Pocket Color was 7,000 yen. So it's kind of similar to what I paid for mine that had a battery door issue. But yeah, it's not a bad price. Famicom Twin System from Sharp, playing Famicom and disk system games, and this system part does not work, unfortunately. But as a very clean, pretty system, it was still 15,000 yen. Maybe you can fix the disk stuff yourself. There were 2 Cassette Vision games from Epoch. I have not ever had a Cassette Vision. I probably will in the future, but one was Battle Vader, basically Space Invaders, and one was Monster Block, kind of Pac-Man-y, for 3,500 and 7,000 yen, respectively. But yeah, they were still sealed in the cassette case, so that's why they were untested. Maybe someone took a magnet to them or something, but I'm sure they still work. Also, the US Nintendo Entertainment System NES releases just the cartridges of Super Mario Bros. 2 and Super Mario Bros. 3 for 7,000 and 6,000 yen respectively. I have no idea why they were here, but yeah. If you really need your NES games and you want to pay more than you would in other countries, one of the few kind of things that are like that in Japan, well, there you go. The Atari 2600 version of E.T., classically wonderful game, 5,000 yen, just the cartridge. And yeah, this is the US version, but it's still compatible in Japan with the Atari 2800, which was sold here. Pepsi Man, complete. In the case, 16,000 yen. So if you like Pepsi Man, there you go. And right behind it was the most expensive copy I've ever seen of Serial Experiments Lane for the PlayStation at 130,000 yen. I've seen it other places for 120,000, 100,000, and 80,000 yen, respectively. Mortal Kombat for the Mega Drive, kind of cheap, I thought. 3,000 yen cartridge only. Usually it's a lot more in this country. And Battletoads, though, much more expensive. Again, Mega Drive version, 10,000 yen. Although it was 10% off because the label is really messed up with a big rip in it. Godzilla for the Game Gear, 4,000 yen. Maybe it's fun, I don't know. And yeah, a 3DO control pad, beautiful box. This is the FZJP1X version. Beautiful box. It's sealed in there. I couldn't look at the controller itself, of course, but I wouldn't be tempted to buy it for 4,000 yen. I have enough controllers as it is. But anyway, I think that's pretty good, and that's good enough for the moment. So thanks so much for listening. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, and as always, keep buying old games until you run out of money.